The following is a presentation of the Matt Talk Podcast Network.
The mind of Pat Popolizio is a wondrous thing. And for you Pac Wrestling fans, you'll get to go inside the mind of the Skip each and every episode here on the Pac Mentality Pop-Ins podcast. Now, here's your host, NC State Director of Athletics Digital Communications, Brian Reinhardt.
Back in our Raleigh studio, welcome to a brand new episode of the Pac Mentality Pop-Ins podcast. I'm back this episode as your host, and my name's Brian Reinhardt. I'm the Director of Athletics Digital Communications here at NC State, and fresh off a great trip to Italy is the head coach of the Wolfpack Wrestling team, Pat Popolizio.
Good afternoon, Brian.
Pat, glad to have you back. We're going to get together as soon as you guys got back from Naples, but I've been a little bit sick. My head hurts. I haven't left the house in a week. But you teach me Pac mentality, and we're going to power through this podcast because we have a lot to cover.
Here's a little Sudafed for you. I think by the time this is over, it'll kick in. We'll have you feeling good by the end of the day.
I hope so. Fans, please bear with us a little bit. I might be coughing some, but this is an exciting episode. We're going to recap the Oklahoma State duel, which took place over in Naples. We're going to talk about the Pac's trip to Italy and how it went. Then we're going to preview the start of ACC duel at Duke this Friday night, January 18th. We're going to bring back our ever-popular guest segment with one of your seniors. So, Pat, we have a lot to cover this week.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Definitely a lot of information here.
But before we get started, I know there are a lot of listeners that subscribe and download this episode to find out if they won some NC State wrestling gear. And if you have not subscribed, if you're just listening off the gopac.com links that we push out socially, just search Pac Mentality and please subscribe to this podcast. We're going to get back to our great listeners. We challenged them to leave a rating and a review on iTunes. And Pat, they sure did follow those instructions and left a lot of great comments for us.
That's great to hear. And hopefully, we're doing our part following through with sending out some of the prizes that these guys are getting.
We're going to send out those prizes. I need to wait for you.
We can't be all talk here, Brian.
I need you to get back in town so you can get me these prizes. But we have a couple shirts we're going to give away. So, Pat, me and you, we go back, read all the reviews. Now it's our turn to reward those that have helped us. This episode, we're going to be giving away 2 T-shirts to fans that left a review. We want to keep doing this each episode, so if you have not left one and want to win some NC State wrestling gear, head over to iTunes and leave those ratings and reviews if you have not done so already. And, of course, if you have, you're still eligible. So, Pat, it's going to be a surprise to you. I picked the winners this week.
Nice. Well, let's get that out there and get them the gear that they won.
This episode's winners are going to be State Grad 99 for a review he left on December 20th and 1 Cent Wonder for the review on December 30th. To claim your shirt, just DM us on Twitter at PacWrestle, and I will work on getting those to you. Pat, I know we went back and forth and read a lot of these comments, but fans are excited about the content we're pushing out on this year's team.
Yeah, I think you've obviously stepped up your game, and people are very appreciative to the time that you've been putting into this. It's very valuable, and looking forward to continuing to grow this product.
Pat, you're going to step up your game because I've messed up so much already. It's the illness.
It's the Sudafed kicking in.
We're hearing these close quarters, but again, this week's winners, State Grad 99 and 1 Cent Wonder. So please DM us on Twitter at PacWrestle to claim your prize.
I like that name, 1 Cent Wonder.
There's a lot better names. We couldn't say a couple of them. So again, if you're going to leave a review, leave a name we can mention on air to win.
Oh, that's great.
But back to this episode. Before we even start talking about wrestling, Pat, there are many people you wanted to thank that were involved in getting you guys to and from Italy safely, and just some thank you wanted to give out to those involved with the entire trip.
Yeah, definitely. When you look back on a trip like this, there's a lot of legwork that goes into it on the administrative side of things, and then the people that have been supporting us and putting us in position, starting obviously with the administration here, allowing us to do that and give these guys an experience of a lifetime, because it is, and that's something I think if you just look at the pictures, it speaks for itself on that aspect. And then, the staff alone, working extremely hard to prepare everything. I know Melissa did above and beyond what she needed to do to get us ready for this on the logistics side of things. And then the team itself handling all the little adversity things that we had to deal with being overseas. Nothing major, but just some things you don't really encounter when you're here on a day-to-day. So it was good. And then, brother put some time in. He helped smooth some things out beforehand, and then when we got over there, our connections that we had, I think everybody over there was first class. You got to listen to Miguel a little bit, and they worked hard for us, so I was very appreciative and thankful that we had this opportunity.
Now, we got to thank Melissa Simmons. She stepped up last time, hosted a podcast over there, had yourself, had Coach Smith, had a couple other special guests. Now, you guys have been back for a week. I have not seen Melissa. Did she make it back?
Melissa needed a vacation from the vacation, and it was well-deserved. So we gave her a little time off. She's going to come back ready to make this run-in for the NCAAs because, again, there's a lot of logistics going on behind the scenes. So she works hard, and we got to give her and reward her for all her hard work. So she took a couple days to regroup.
Now, I like to joke with you about your personal travel style. But I know there's one airline you might not be thanking on that trip back to Raleigh. There was some last-minute adversity. Would you care to share?
Yeah, we dealt with some really good adversity. On the way back, Delta Airlines, there was a lot going on with JFK. So
I didn't think you were going to name the airline.
Yeah, well, you can throw them in there. They came back. I mean, it wasn't anything on them. It was just some of the stuff that happened with the logistics at the JFK airport. So, understandably so, we were booked on Delta, and they canceled all those international arrivals because of the flooding in JFK, and we happened to be a victim of that. So our flights from JFK to Raleigh ended up getting canceled due to some of the effects of that, and we took it in our own hands. We figured we would just get a bus and make it a nice 25-hour trip from Rome to Raleigh, landed in JFK, got on a bus through the air. Actually, midway in the air, we were getting cancellations that this was happening, so we were able to book a bus and get it back to Raleigh and got back just in time for practice. So it worked out just right.
I was going to say, there was a lot of great last-minute work behind the scenes that not only got the whole travel party back to Raleigh that night, but not a single class was missed, as you guys have now started the spring semester here at NC State.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you got to gear towards is the student-athletes, making sure that they're in place for academics. And we didn't want to miss the day of class. And figured that was our best chance of getting back here, not risking getting stuck there. When you're traveling with that big of a group, that we were getting a couple guys going to have to go to Boston, some to Atlanta, some down to Tampa. So we just took it in our own hands, kept the group together, and toughed it out, and tried to get a little sleep on the bus, arrived, worked out, and were able to go to class.
So you guys got to spend about a week over in Italy during the break. It was the first ever NCAA duel held outside of North America, and it was called the Tussle for the Troops, so it took place at the Naples Naval Base. How was the time for NC State over in Italy overall?
Great experience. Like we said before, I think this is something that's going to last a lifetime memories for these guys, something that they're going to talk about as they go on further in their careers. It's one of those conversations that, yes, I got to experience this, and that's what it's about for these guys, is obviously putting them in a good environment and keeping things positive, but giving them something to think back on and all positive experiences, and this was definitely one of them. It was good to get out of our normal routine here. The bonding that we got to spend with each other was very valuable. I think we got to know each other even that much more, rooming. And it was one of those, we're not in our normal environment. We didn't have TVs. There was no video games. We did have some cell phones and some wireless here and there. It was spotty at times, but, there was old school communication, and I think it was very enjoyable. And, I think everybody was ready to get back and be on their own and back to a routine. But at the same time, it's one of those where you look back and you're like, yeah, that was well worth everything we were able to do.
So who was your roommate this entire trip?
I had a little bit of my own downtime here and there, but I had my Italian Andrea, who comes out here and visits quite a bit. Got to catch up, spend a lot of time. I felt like we spent more time in the restaurants than anything. So I would say we had a lot of roommates and a lot of food, constantly eating over there. So it was good.
So we're going to touch on the duel against Oklahoma State, but what were some of the activities the guys were able to enjoy both before and after the duel?
Beforehand, we got to go see a couple of the local, I guess, downtown Naples, doing some things locally there. We didn't really put too much energy in beforehand other than the training that we were doing, and then some of the guys touring around some of the local stuff in Naples. And then afterwards, we headed to Rome and took the day. Got to see the Coliseum, which I thought was really unique. Went to a soccer game there, and that was a pretty unbelievable experience alone because of how big football is in Europe, and it was pretty amazing, pretty intense. That was an eye opener. I think the most interesting thing there is how they had to put a net up over the opposing crowd because it's that intense. So hopefully dual meets never get to that point. But no, just the time that we got to spend in Rome, I thought was probably, we were done competing. Guys were obviously not so strict on their diet, knowing that we had a week off before we had to make weight. So they were able to enjoy the food there and just walk around Rome and do a little shopping and see the local downtown.
So the duel turned out to be a great night of action. Number 3, Oklahoma State, and number 5, NC State split the 10 matches, but the Cowboys had 3 bonus wins compared to 1 for NC State and came away with the 19-16 win. The duel was tied 12-12 with 3 left. The two teams traded majors. So going into the final bout, it was 16-16, but the Cowboys got that last win. I know everybody wanted the NC State win, but it was a really good showing against a really good team for you guys.
Yeah, we knew going in the competition level, was going to be top notch. I think, we had some guys obviously ready for the challenge, stepping up and coming away with those wins, and we knew going into that there was going to be probably a 6th match that we were going to have to win, and against a top 3-4 team in the country to do that. That's a tough order to do, but we were in position. We let a couple things slip away, but we wanted to focus in on the positives, and we felt like we won some big matches as far as individuals go. That's going to make us better for the end of the year, and some guys I think got an eye opener what it takes to compete at the highest level, and maybe not mentally being ready to compete when we got out there, and we got to continue to work on that. But I think the whole point of wrestling the higher level competition is to get us ready for the NCAA tournament, and that definitely put us in position for that.
Redshirt senior Pete Renda started the duel with a 3-0 win at 184. Pete is now 15-0 on the year, ranked number 3 nationally. Having that final season you envisioned when he redshirted last year.
Yeah, definitely. His experiences that he's been through here over the last couple of years has made our team that much better. He's a leader. He's a winner. And we got to continue to grow in this season. He's doing that. He knows he's got to do a little bit more in his matches. We talked about it. And his best wrestling still is in front of him, which is great because he's at that level to compete at, when it matters most at the national tournament. He's proven he's got another gear that he can hit. He hasn't done it yet, which I think is good because we're not hitting from all cylinders. And he's going to let loose here as we get close to the end. There's still a lot of time left, but he's one of those that's continuing to get better and better as the season goes on in the room right now. We just got to make that transition in competition and putting points up. He, hasn't been in any danger as far as losing some of these matches. Score-wise, yes, it's been a little closer than he likes, but we know he can score points when he puts it into that next gear, and that's what he's got to do closing out this season.
Then we had redshirt junior Sean Foss. He scored the first of 2 top 3 wins for the Wolfpack as number 8 Foss scored 3 takedowns and a late reversal and got the ride time point as he upset returning All-American number 3 Piccinini 9-5 at 125. This was Sean's dual debut, and now you have to be excited to have him back in this lineup, and he already has a pair of wins over wrestlers that are currently ranked in the top 10.
No question about that. He is one of the best guys in the country at that weight class. He's on track to do some wonderful things. It's exciting to have him as an option now at 125. We got two really good guys right there. Tommy Cox continuing to get some valuable experience, and then now having Sean down there makes us that much stronger as far as dual meets, and then in the tournament aspect of things. He's a guy that's going to go and compete with the top guys to win a national title this year. And when you talk about Sean Falls, you got to mention him in that category. Probably a lot of people don't think that, and that's what's great about our program is we know where he's at, and he knows where he's at, and he is doing everything to put himself in that position. And I like where he's at right now, mentally and physically and technically. He's one of the best guys in the country, and we're going to definitely be excited here as the last couple months of the season wind down and see him continue to get better and better.
And you mentioned him, Tommy Cox. Was there a guy that perhaps had I think he had the best time over in Italy. I went to practice today. A bunch of guys said, hey, you got to check out this guy's YouTube channel. He's about a little self-promotion right now, too.
Yeah, I don't know. He thinks he's got 20 followers or something in his YouTube cam. We got to help him get those numbers up. But, yeah, he had a good experience over there. We took him over there. He's been a big part of our season this year. And obviously Sean's a guy at 125, but Tommy Cox has put a lot of time and improvement into that weight class as well. So it was helpful to have him over there, and he's going to continue to get better because of that experience. But definitely he enjoyed himself over there, and it was good. It was good for him to see.
So going back to the duel, the Cowboys went up 12-6 after 133, but 3 straight NC State wins gave the Pack the lead going in the final 2 bouts. The marquee matchup of the day, number 4, Kevin Jack, defeated the 2-time defending national champion, number 3, Dean Heil, 4-3 at 141. There's perhaps nobody in the country more comfortable down a point late than Kevin. He was down 3-2. There was a neutral restart with 23 seconds left. Kevin took a great shot, got that takedown with 15 seconds left, and rode out the match. Very important win for Kevin. 141 is arguably the deepest weight this year, and that's just another signature win.
Absolutely. That's a extremely deep weight class. A lot of guys that are going to be right in the mix of things. We knew going into that it was going to be an action-packed match. Kevin likes to put up points, so we knew, that was one takedown wasn't going to decide that match. It was going to be more than that. And, what I like best about that match and the way he scored is there were some things we've been working on over the last, since probably the Reno tournament, and even before that. And we were able to capitalize on some of the stuff we've been working on. And that's what you want to see out of your guys at this point is how are they responding when they take a loss? Is it something that they're going to dwell on and be negative, or are they going to learn from it, move forward? And I think you can say that about a lot of our guys right now as far as the program goes. If that happens, we'll fix things and continue to get better, and we did that. And still got some areas to work on, but I at least like the progress that we're making with Kevin and the technical side of things. And that's a match easily could be a quarterfinals or semifinal match. There's going to be about 2 or 3 of those matches back to back that we're going to have to win to accomplish our goals this year. So that was a good point of it.
And at 149, you got another great late effort. Beau Donahue was down 3-2, but scored a takedown with 30 seconds left to force his bout into extra time. And he got the winning takedown 25 seconds into that OT. Beau's up to 14-2 on the year, is ranked in every poll. Definitely a strong start to his senior season.
Extremely impressed with Beau Donahue. His attitude, I think, is a major reason why he's where he's at. He's always been very skilled and technical and hard-nosed, but I think this year his attitude separates him with his successes he's having. And you talk about those 2 losses. One's to a returning national champ from 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and then one's an in-house loss. And we've learned from both of them. And I like where we're at 149 right now, and his wins that he's had, definitely some big wins on the year for him, and I'm excited for the next couple weeks for him because he gets to see some pretty good quality guys that will put us in position to only get better. So very, very excited for Beau and definitely impressed to where he's at right now. We got to continue to grow on this level that we're at right now.
And that third straight Wolfpack victory in that stretch was a 12-4 major by redshirt freshman Hayden Hidley at 157. He controlled the bout from the start and improves to a perfect 14-0 and is now up to number 3 in the country, headed into the start of ACC action for him.
Yeah, he's having one of those breakthrough seasons right now. No surprise to us with his work ethic and attitude. And I know his goals are high this year, set pretty high, and he's on track to do that. We just got to take 1 week at a time and continue to do what he's been doing, and I'm looking forward. I think he's pretty familiar with a lot of the guys that he's going to see in the ACC. He's wrestled a lot of them last year and this off season, so business as usual for him, and just focused in on the last weekend of the year. But you got to go through the process here and continue to work and more than anything keep adjusting and working on things that we're focused in on as an individual. And I think everything will take care of itself if we do that. But he's in position mentally right now to accomplish some really big things here.
Now we're going to jump back stateside. While the majority of the squad was in Italy, there were 6 members of the pack that went down to the Southern Scuffle January 1st and 2nd. Of those 6, 3 earned podium finishes, with 2 finishing in the top 4 at one of the top college tournaments every year. Sophomore Nick Reenan placed 4th at 184. Started with 3 straight wins, including a 6-4 decision over number 17 Coleman Navy. He fell in the semifinals to number 1 Nickel of Penn State, but came back with a 23-8 tech fall. As our fans know, Nick is redshirting this season and wrestling up at 184 after being at 174 last year. What have you seen from him in practice and open tournaments that will make fans excited to see him back this time next year in your lineup?
Nick's been very exciting to watch in our room. His growth, I think he's benefiting a great deal from his red shirt, and that's what you want out of our guys. And a majority of our guys who have redshirted in the past have made some big strides. Because of the way we're at in our room right now, there's high-level guys that are going to make everybody better. And I think you're seeing that right now when you got guys like Pete Renda and Machiavello every day to train with outside of our RTC guys. Reenan's benefiting from that a great deal, and he's attacking it every day with an attitude to, yes, this is going to make me better. He's willing and able to go anywhere to compete, and that's what I liked seeing him. He's excited to go out and compete. And I think last year, being down at 74, maybe that little bit of a cut on him, and then that grind on a true freshman season, he might have lost that edge a little bit, but he's definitely gained it right back, and doing some great things. And every day I see him, he continues to get better in the room, and we're working on areas that we know next year we have to be ready to wrestle in certain positions, and we're addressing them now. So when next year comes, he's a guy that I think you're going to see right in the mix of things as time goes on. And if he keeps this attitude up, the sky's the limit for him and what he can accomplish, and obviously elevating us to that next level as far as the program goes.
And senior Michael Boykin had the best Wolfpack performance at the Southern Scuffle. He placed 2nd at 285 with a pair of wins over top 11 foes. In the quarters, he got a late takedown to knock off number 3 Nevels of Penn State. And then in the semifinals, another late takedown. He took out number 11 Butler of Stanford. The championship match was another late one, went into extra time, but he fell to number 6 Casper Duke. But Boykin ended up with that 2nd place showing. What does that performance and his 3rd place showing at Reno do for you guys moving forward?
Yeah, that was one of the situations, going into this trip with Italy and the Scuffle, gave Mike the option to come with us because of, he's a big part of our program and obviously a guy that's right in the mix of things at heavyweight. But we gave him the option to come with us to Italy or go to the Scuffle. I was kind of excited to hear that he would pass up the trip and go to the Scuffle and put some things on the line, because he put us in position now really to have to make a tough decision here at heavyweight as time goes on and moves forward. You're looking at a guy that's got some good quality ranked wins on outside competition. You got a guy that's won head-to-head with in-house, and some wrestle-offs. So, as far as the staff goes and myself, we got to make some decisions. That's what's going to be best for NC State wrestling and ultimately score points at the national tournament. We got 2 quality guys right now and great kids that are doing everything right to continue to get better. But there's still a lot of wrestling left, and we're going to mix and match at heavyweight right now and see we'll see how the results play out. And at the end of the day, we got to evaluate who has the best quality wins as an individual. And we still have plenty of opportunities for both guys to gain that. And we'll let it all play out over the next month or two.
Now, the whole team was back in Raleigh around January 10th. You guys did not have a duel this past weekend. So what was the practice routine like over the last week?
It was good to get back in routine with a rhythm, our training. We were able to work out every day we were in Italy. It wasn't the same being, when you're in your own room, you're in your comfort zone, your workouts are in sync. When we were over there, the time was a little off. We were rushed here, sometimes rushed to get over there. And then, it was a little cold time. So we got good workouts in, but now we're back to a routine. And we wanted to take this time to really attack a training phase when we planned out our schedule. And this was a great time to do it, being back here and basically having 14 days in a row to work out, and we were able to do that and get everybody back and get in sync with classes, and looking forward to now ACC competition kicking off. So every match for individuals is going to be important, and let these guys enjoy the process for the conference wrestling.
And as you mentioned, we're going to get back into dual action coming up here Friday, January 19th. NC State has 6 duels left before the ACC and NCAA championships in March. Up first is the start of ACC action when NC State heads to Duke for the first conference duel of the year on Friday, January 19th at 7:30. The duel will be held in Cameron Indoor Stadium, and we would love to see a lot of red in the stands. But if you cannot make it, the duel will be streamed on ACC Network Extra. Duke started their duel season with 3 losses at the Carolina duels. The same day you guys were in Italy, the Blue Devils lost to Army, Wyoming, and American. But this past weekend, the Blue Devils went out to Colorado, got a 25-17 win over Cal State Bakersfield, and then 19-18 over Northern Colorado. So Duke is really coming in with some good momentum right now. Anytime you're wrestling in the ACC competitions, you got to be ready to wrestle. We know that.
Anything can fly when you're in the conference. So some good key individual matchups across the board. And, I'm always going to get a good match when you're wrestling in-state teams, and Duke is that. We expect a tough, hard-fought match, and we know we're going to get that. So it's going to test us. And we just got to be ready to go out there and compete. So definitely looking forward to it. I think, next 5 or 6 dual meets, other than Pittsburgh, are all pretty close right here. So it's nice not to have to travel and take advantage of getting some people out there to watch us compete, because it's been a while, and we're not far away, so it should be an easy commute for people that want to come watch us Friday night. I was going to say, that's one thing a little bit different. The schedule worked out. You guys have really only had 1 home duel, so Wolfpack fans, there's going to be 3 home duels in Reynolds, and this Duke duel is a great opportunity to come to see the Wolfpack. Yeah, and we need that right now. These guys have been doing their part, and we've got to continue to grow this fan base to be one of those elite-level programs. So we got to rely heavily on our student body, and then the local community's got to come out, because that's what you're seeing right now out of the top programs in the country. They're getting a following, and people are willing to travel to watch their teams wrestle, and we need that to continue to be an elite-level program. We need that support from the local community. The last 2 years, you guys have started ACC action with wins over Duke, scoring 34 team points in each. One of your team goals this year is to win the ACC dual championship. How important is it to repeat these recent wins and get off to a 1-0 start? Sets the tone of the season for the ACC, and that's our guys' goals this year. They're the ones that made it up. We're focused in, obviously, just doing what we do. I don't want to get too caught up in the dual meets, but it definitely would be nice for these guys to set their goals and accomplish them. So we'll continue to do what we're doing in our training, and I like where we're at. We have a lot of individual leadership on our team, and we have a lot of good quality individuals, and that'll take care of the dual meet side of things. We just got to come ready to wrestle from now until the end and let things fly, because it's second semester, and we're starting to make that next jump of conditioning and the technical side of things as far as individuals go. So we've got to just continue to grow and get better, and we'll be in position to do that. One matchup I wanted to touch on, probably the premier matchup is going to be at 157.
for NC State. Highly enters, like I said earlier, with a perfect record, ranked number 3. For the Blue Devils, Mitch Finesilver, one of 4 Finesilvers on their roster, is number 11 nationally with an 18-2 record. Finesilver's a 2-time NCAA qualifier. Like Hayden, last year he redshirted. They actually met last year in the Wolfpack Open. Hayden got a close 5-2 win, but Hayden has a goal of winning the ACC title as a freshman. He's starting off with one of the best that the ACC has to offer.
Good test for him, no doubt about it. You know, we know we're going to be in a good hard fought match, so it's another test for Hayden to get what he needs out of it, and he's got to be ready to wrestle and just go out and do what he's capable of doing. We know it's a match, obviously, that's been wrestled before, so they're going to be familiar with each other, and sometimes that's what makes wrestling fun and unique is when you see these guys, what kind of adjustments each guy will make, both technically and mentally, and let it fly. But yeah, this will be a fun one to watch because I think both guys wrestle real hard and are very, very offensive.
Our special guest this week is going to be redshirt senior Beau Donahue, so stay tuned. We'll have that interview in a moment. But, Pat, before the season, there was open competition for the starting spot at 149. You wanted to see somebody step up and make that decision for you. Beau has put together some exciting wins and duels for you guys this year, and he's also already earned his undergrad degree here from NC State. How have you seen Beau develop over the last 5 years here with the Wolfpack?
Yeah, I think if you look back through the recruiting process when I first got here, you know, he was a kid that came in. I remember kind of the visit with his dad. His family was here, I think. And we just talked about what we were able to offer for somebody like Beau. And it was a guy that was going to come here, work extremely hard, and stay committed to the process. And that's what I like about Beau is he trusted some of the things. It hasn't been an easy road for him. You know, I think that's the biggest thing with Beau is there's always been somebody that we've had that's just quality at the timing with Spino last year, and he took a redshirt year, and then this year there was a little bit of competition in the beginning. And I think when you watch Beau compete, you see what he's about. He fights to tooth and nail, and he wrestles with confidence. Because I think there's a lot of kids in position where he's been before, you know, that expect to come here and be the guy all 4 to 5 years, and that hasn't been the case for him. And he's one of the best kids in the country every year. It was just we were fortunate enough to have some depth there and another guy that was capable of doing some good stuff. So what you see out of Beau right now is somebody that has put his time in and stayed the course and believed in himself and trusted that everything's going to work itself out. And I like seeing this now because he deserves nothing but success. And he's earned everything that's been given to him. And sometimes it's a hard thing to do. And in the sport, you know, you put a lot of work in day to day. You want to be the guy. And he's finally getting that. And we're finally reaping the benefits of it. And you're seeing some wonderful stuff come out of him. And he's definitely off the mat. He's a first-class kid coming from a great family. And got his degree, something that you're going to see I think he's going to go on to do some wonderful things in his personal, professional career. And just looking forward to the next 2 months and seeing him accomplish his goals.
So, Pat, this was another fun episode. We got to hear about Italy. We broke down the duel against Oklahoma State. You got Wolfpack fans excited for the start of ACC competition. Fans are going to be able to see you guys in action over in Durham. So really looking forward to the second half of the season. You got a couple zings in there. I'm not at my top of the game, you know, a little flustered here and there, but this was your episode to shine, I believe.
Yeah, it's all right. You know, we'll pick you up. We had to call you, get you out of bed this week. And
you did. You called me, woke me up. That was all right.
It's all right. You know, everybody needs that every now and then. That's what we're here for, to take care of each other.
We're now joined by redshirt senior Beau Donahue. Beau, thanks for stopping by today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
We're actually taping this right after a morning practice up here in the mat room, and that might be my first question. What do you actually prefer? Do you like to practice in the mornings when there's no school, or do you like the usual time of 3 o'clock after doing all your classes?
So last semester I didn't have a lot of in-person class, so it was nice. I got to relax all morning and then go to practice. But I think I prefer doing it in the morning. That way I just focus on the workout, and once that's over, I can switch into school mode.
We're going to be talking about your season a little bit. You're about halfway done in your final year, but I just wanted to start off asking, how was the trip to Italy?
The The trip to Italy was really cool. It was a good experience, you know. Just so much different there. The things you're not used to. I think it was pretty good for our training situation too. Just being in places that we weren't used to, having a little adversity, and it's just going to make it that much easier when we're back home and have all our resources and everything like that. So.
Now, I saw a video of the bus trip up Mount Vesuvius. You seemed a little more quiet than usual. Can you describe what was going on in that video?
Okay, so after the duel, we were given a couple of options of what we wanted to do the next day. And I was a big proponent for Mount Vesuvius. I was trying to convince everyone to do that. I think it was between that or Pompeii or some like tunnels or underground, and I was pushing everyone to do Mount Vesuvius. Got the vote in, got that settled, and then that night I ended up getting sick. And on the way up, there was a very windy road on the way to the top of Mount Vesuvius, but I was very determined to make it to the top since it was my idea. I was not going to back out. So I might have had my head out the window a little bit. Might have been a little bit quieter than usual. But
showing that pack mentality, overcoming that adversity, did you make the hike?
I made the hike. It was actually a lot steeper than I thought it was going to be. Like it was a pretty good workout. Me and Melissa were in the back there for a little bit struggling, but we made it to the top, made it for the picture just in time. I think they had to wait on us a little bit, but it was a pretty cool sight.
Is that definitely something you're glad you did after the duel?
Yeah, absolutely. I think my legs would have been running to the ground a little bit if we did it before.
Was that your first time outside the U.S.?
It wasn't my first time outside the U.S. It was my first time to Europe, though. I had been to the Bahamas before. How
fortunate this is your senior year for yourself and for NC State that you guys were able to do this Italy trip.
Oh, it was just cool to be a part of, you know, making history, even with Oklahoma State, like first duel outside of the continental U.S. So that, I mean, just being a part of it is cool to be able to say. And like, just during my time here at NC State, some of the stuff we've been able to do, just like even 2 years ago when we beat Iowa and Oklahoma State, being a part of history, being a part of things that had never been done before, like I'll hold on to that stuff for the rest of my life. So.
Turn into the wrestling side of things. In the duel against Oklahoma State, you posted a big win at 149. You got a late takedown in the third, and then OT, you got the winning takedown. How good of a win was that for you?
I didn't wrestle my best match. I'll come out and say that off the start. But being able to get the win, like when I go to overtime, I'm very confident that I'm gonna win in overtime just because of my gas tank, because of my pace. Really wears on guys. So once it goes into overtime, I'm feeling pretty good. You know, I know the guys twice as tired as I am. So, but big win. I got taken down first, and I was able to climb my way back and just get that takedown at the end just from hustling. So it was that kid's pretty good. So it was a good win, and I think on a better day, I'm 2-3 takedowns better than him now.
And I think you told me before you don't pay attention to rankings, but you're aware of rankings. I think every guy kind of is just with social media and all that. You're getting some reward this year. You're in most of the rankings and all that. How rewarding is it to you to see all your hard work over 5 years paying off for this senior season?
In the past, I think people have slept on me a little bit, and I've been able to, come out and surprise people, and it's nice to get the recognition. Just know that people are taking notice of the work you're putting in, especially like you said, it being my last year. It's an honor to be in the rankings and stuff like that. I don't, take advantage of it or anything like that. But now people know who I am, are gonna have a little bit more of a target on my back, I guess.
Now, you've wrestled in 2 duels against Oklahoma State. In your redshirt freshman season, you also had an OT win. Not many wrestlers can say that they were perfect in dual competition against the Cowboys in their career.
Yeah, I was actually I don't know who I was talking to about that the other week, but I didn't even realize that until they brought it up. But it's pretty cool. Like I said before, like overtime for some reason seems to be my thing. I don't know what it is. If I can go in overtime, I know I'm winning the match. So it's pretty cool being able to be undefeated against Oklahoma State in my career. yeah, like you said, I know a lot of people can't say that. So
I will say overtime has come some of the best pictures of yourself. I think we still use the one from your freshman year. I want to say it was against Kent State in overtime. You got the winning takedown, celebration, just blood all over your mouth and all that. But a great celebration picture.
Yeah. There have been for some reason I get a little bit candid or something. I don't know. But for some reason I have a thing for the dramatics. I don't know what it is. I think I like to scare my mom and dad a little bit. I don't know.
Now we're multiple questions in, and we haven't even broached the subject of your stash, which has gotten national attention anytime you guys are on Flow. How or why did this mustache come about?
It must have started even back in high school a little bit, just through the No Shave November thing, and because I played football and wrestling back in high school, so we would do the playoff beard and then I'd shave the mustache for wrestling. I think I did it for states a couple times, and then when I got here, just getting older, the thing just kept getting thicker and thicker, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to grow. Some guys on a team can't grow the hair, and they're a little bit jealous of it. But it's a blessing and a curse, You always have that impulse. It's like when you want to get a haircut, you have that impulse like, do I want to grow out my hair? Do I want to get the haircut? And then you just do it, and you're like, oh, why'd I do that? So every day I wake up, I'm like, man, this thing's kind of dirty. I think I want to shave it. But I think it's been since like November. I think I started like right on November 1st. And a lot of guys used to do it with me in the past. Nick Gwizdowski and Bill would do it with me a little bit, but I think I kind of took the reins on that one.
Now, besides wrestling, you've already earned your undergrad degree here at NC State. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about what your plan is to do with your degree and just what your degree was?
So my degree was business administration with a concentration in IT. Now that I'm finished with that, I plan on in the future hopefully going to grad school. I don't know whether it would be here or somewhere else, but I plan on using my degree to go into the field of like project construction management. I'm taking some like architecture and design classes right now that I'm a non-degree student, so those opened up, and I think those would be really useful down the road for my career path. So.
And your family is very supportive of your career. Your dad was the lone Wolfpack fan to travel to Nebraska. And actually, a funny story, the PA guy asked me at intermission if he was doing all the pronunciations. And I looked over and I said, well, our one-man fan section hasn't complained yet. So how much fun is it to have them be on this journey with you?
Oh, it's awesome. I know my dad won't miss a meet. He won't miss a meet. He'll come to everything. I know he flew to Iowa with us the one year. He's been our lone fan in Nebraska, like you said. But it's just like I appreciate just having him there. The fact that they go out of their way to make it to all my stuff when they have everything going on, and I gotta thank them first for getting me to this point, because I wouldn't be here without them. So I don't know. I'm very grateful that they have the opportunity to make it and support me in all my matches and everything. It's nice looking into the crowd and seeing your mom and dad there after like a tough overtime win or something like that.
Now, something we'd like to do, 7 quick questions. So first thing that pops into your head, teammate with the messiest locker.
Mock.
That's a popular choice, I think.
I actually wanted to say myself for a second, but I didn't want to put myself out like that.
Throw someone else underneath the bus.
Yeah, exactly.
Favorite cardio machine?
Stair stepper.
Best social media follow on the team right now?
Like, who to follow on
Yes.
our team?
Dizzy Dawn is up there. I will say that might be a nomination.
I'd have to give... I'll give Tommy Cox a shout out there. I know he's doing his YouTube thing now. He's trying to grow the brand a little bit. I'll give Tommy Cox a shout out on that one.
What's your go-to restaurant in Raleigh?
Go-to restaurant. That's tough.
This might be a postseason question.
Definitely a postseason question. I'm a big Chipotle guy. I like Chipotle. But like sit-down restaurant. What's the Brazilian steakhouse called? The one over by Crabtree. I like that one a lot.
Okay. That's a lot of food.
It's a lot of food. It's
Okay.
they bring it out
Yep.
like the meat on the Whatever it's called. I like that one. That one's good.
NC State wrestler that can make you crack up at any time.
Mike Boykin. Without a doubt.
What was your favorite class here at NC State?
Favorite class? I think it's a tie. So, favorite class learning-wise, definitely my info systems class with Neil Parker. Actually, funny story. So we had a pig at one point, a pet pig. Me, Pete, and Kevin.
You said had.
Had. Well, yeah, it didn't go great. We had to find him a better living situation, but we actually named him after that teacher. We named our pig Neil Porker. I don't think my teacher knows that. Maybe he's listening. I don't know. And then the other class, I would have to say, was Insects and People, just because it was me, Nick Wazowski, Bill Cook, and Sam Spina all in the same class. So that was a good one.
A lot of learning went on in that circle.
Oh, absolutely. A lot about bugs.
And last question, who's the future coach on the roster right now?
Future coach. That's a good question. I want to say I'll say Pete Renda. I think Pete Renda could be a really good
Does
coach.
Pete have it in him to yell at somebody?
See, that's up in the air. I don't know about that one.
That's the only reason I question that.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I haven't seen him get too vocal too much, but I think he's a great teacher, though. So I think he could help out with some kids. I know he does a little bit on the side now.
Well, Beau, wanted to thank you for stopping by, taking part in our podcast. Good luck the rest of the season. It's going to be an exciting year. Duels left, ACC, NCAAs, a lot of great wrestling action still to come.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you for having me.
And I want to thank everybody for listening today. This is your Pack Mentality Pop-Ins podcast covering all things NC State wrestling. Until next time, Wolfpack fans, go Pack!
The Pack Mentality Pop-Ins podcast is produced by the Mat Talk Podcast Network. For more wrestling podcasts, go to MatTalkOnline.com.